as you can see, this is like I compared the main cereals that are out there, that the thing, and you can just see the red is just that is just high off the scale, and the amount of sugar that you're starting your day, that you might as well eat that Mars bar rather than pretending that you're having something healthy to the thing. So I've got some as well, just to give out so that we can all get into looking at our food labels. May you help us shredding. So basically, when you're, most of you, I'm not sure if you know, but the ingredients are listed in are listed in descending order. So the ingredients are listed in descending order of the highest. So when you start seeing things that say sugar first, then fructose, then honey, you know, it's just made up of the things. So it's always descending order. And you look at the 100 grams so that you can compare across, and that's what the card is made up of, 100 grams. So just to compare maybe the products that you have in your hand, if we look at maybe, talk about the sugar, if whoever's holding the shreddies, if they can tell the sugar. So it's a little square box with a, so yeah, so what is it, the 100 grams here, yeah, if you can see it, here. That shows your daily amounts. It also gives your daily amounts that you're supposed to have. Not everybody knows how much fat or saturated fat or sugar they should be taking in. So if you just read out how the carbohydrates of which sugar, just what is the
per 100 grams you want?
Yeah.
73.5 Gs.
73.5 Gs.
Of which 14.9 is.
14.9 is the sugar. So 14.9 grams of sugar in shreddies.
The carbohydrates is 69 grams. And of which sugar is 4.4 grams in the Weetabix.
The muesli is, the carbohydrates is 57.6 grams, and the sugars are 30.4 grams.
They had a heart attack when I saw that. That's why I had to bring it out. So they had to, because it was my son that told me that, because the muesli, I thought it was healthy. Yeah. And again, I'm always talking about the marketing, and I really was the muesli. And then one day he said, "But Mum, have you read the thing?" And as soon as he, you know, when you can't believe there's that much sugar, that's off the scale. And I mean, some of it's obviously because it's got dried fruit in it, and so that's why when they're talking about portion sizes, do we know what a portion size is?
Isn't it supposed to be the size of your hand?
Yeah, the size of your hand, yeah, is a portion size. So whether you're an adult or child, that's what they say. Whether people do that or not, I'm really not into portion sizes. I like to eat when I'm eating, but I just be more mindful about what I'm eating. But a portion size, the size of your hand, they say no dried fruit, don't make dried fruit, because obviously it has a higher concentration of sugar. But yeah, so it was just a shock to find the muesli. And again, it's always about the marketing and what they're trying to...
But they've sweetened it, that's what they do.
Yes, they sweetened it and added it. Yeah, so they've already got the sugar and they've added it again. So that type of thing. All right, let's move to fat, the saturated fat, the fat that we don't want.
Saturated fat?
Yeah, so 100 grams, so we're within 100 grams.
It's 1.9.
1.9?
Or with...
the saturated
stuff? Yeah, 0.4 is saturated.
0.4?
2 grams, and it's 0.6 grams saturated in the Weetabix.
Yeah, and what have we got for the muesli? Can we include it?
That is 13.8 grams, of which saturates is 6.7 grams.
So again, you know, we just like, and that was the one that I was thinking that was really the healthiest one. Yeah, and I just thought that, yeah, well, I haven't bought it since.
If
but
you do it yourself, it's better off, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, it is better off. And I think that goes to most of all the processed stuff. When you buy it out of the pack, you can't, it's hard to keep away. And also note that if they're low in something else, like low in sugar, they're going to be high in something else. Always, it's to counterbalance it, so it's always the case. So I've also got a quick food quiz. I think you've answered this one already. But ingredients on packaging needs to be listed in descending way, which is true. How much fat per 100 grams do you think is a lot? 20 grams, 10 or 3? 10? Anyone else? Any other takers? How much do you think is a lot per 100 grams? It's 20.
Yeah,
it's 20. So if the label says product contains 5 grams of sugar, do you think this is a lot or a little?
It's a lot.
It's a lot?
No, what is
It
it?
depends
100
what it's
grams.
out,
If it's
yeah.
100 grams, then no, it's not.
No.
Oh, it's like
No,
100 grams.
it's a little.
No.
And if a label states that a product contains 1.5 grams of salt, do you think it's a lot or a little?
A lot.
It's a little.
It's a little.
Yeah.
It's out of 100. These are all out of 100.
Yeah, and that's why when you compare across products, you always look at the 100 grams to say you've got a standardised measure of what the different ones are. And again, this is my favourite one in terms of the marketing. Just be careful with the marketing. Which of the following do you think contains some raspberry? Raspberry flavoured yoghurt or raspberry flavoured yoghurt?
None.
No, one of them must have something.
Yeah.
You think?
Raspberry, the flavour has got the raspberry in it.
So you go for B's?
Yeah.
Anyone agree or disagree? Flavoured?
Which one you want? A.
A.
Yeah. It's A.
Really?
It's A, yeah. So anything that has flavour, doesn't have to contain any of the things, it's flavoured. But come on, I know that's
right.
it isn't, because like who's got time to be thinking on that scale of like
That's so wrong.
yeah,
That trickery.
yeah, it
I
is
didn't
a
know
trigger.
that at all.
Yeah.
So flavoured, and they shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Because you're not, when you're putting things, you're not gonna the thing, and sometimes it can have, even the flavoured can be as low as like 2 or 3%. We bought there was a juice, and my son was like, "Mum, I want to get it." I think it was something like blueberry and apple juice, and then I think the main blueberry and melon juice, and then the first ingredient, because we're addicted, so we looked. The first ingredient I think was apple. But it's only it only specified on the thing blueberry and melon, and it must have contained about, and I'm not even exaggerating, about 60% of apple juice, and then the actual blueberry and the watermelon, I think they equated to 3% between them.
So how
Even
can
though
it
it was,
be
and that's what me and my son was just like, oh my gosh, you know, he's just so shocked at the marketing that 3%, but then 60% is apple. So why not call it apple? That's what we kept saying, apple with a drop of, you know, like. But again, they're not here to make the marketers are not here to make friends. They're marketing for their own things.
Money.
So
Yeah,
for their
that's what I
money.
was thinking. Probably the apple's cheaper
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah,
So that's
so you can bulk it out. Because they didn't even, but I still thought it wouldn't really hurt anybody just to say apple, melon. We wouldn't have been like really against it.
No.
And especially you might have had maybe a tolerance or allergic, like my sister's allergic to apples. You know, the fact it's there, 60%. All just little things like that. Or even, there were some fish fingers that we picked up and it said, I think, 100% cod. And when you looked at the back, it was, I think, 62%. So my son was like, well, how can it say 100% cod and be 62% in the thing? And it can because they're telling you that it's 100% of the 62%. So all of the 62%. Yeah, and it's just those things. And it's really like, there's no one really coming down on the advertising and the marketing people. So that's why it's just so careful just to limit what you're eating and the things. And you probably also, I think there's a question about the I don't know if I included it, but even, do you remember like a long time ago they used to be all those E's? I don't think they really do that anymore, like the E121 and the E, and because people started being more aware about how the adverse effects of the E numbers, they stopped putting them on and actually just put the actual long name, so you don't actually recognise that it's still all the E's, but because they put the long name, it's still just as bad, but it was the association. So anyway, so there are over 4,000 flavouring agents used in food, but manufacturers only have to write the word flavouring on the label. Is that true or false?
True.
True. Yeah, and that one again really irritates me because I think flavourings. What is the flavourings? Imagine I'm allergic to flavourings. What if I don't want the flavourings? What is it? And then especially when you see products where they've listed so many ingredients and they've still got cheap to put flavourings, and you think, well, how much more? How much more can you do? I don't know if anyone knows this one. What is the difference between use by date and best before date?
Best before is for the shops.
The best before is for the shops. Is what you're saying.
Best before. You can still eat it.
You can still eat it. So you can still eat the best before, and the use by.
That's it.
You have to use it by that. It's a great.
And yeah, so I think well, it's not. I think the use by is that you actually have to use it by that date, or it may be harmful for you. Whereas the best before, it's just about if the taste may be impaired, so that it may impair it. So it's more of a guide. So again, it's just all these things that like that you might not know, but it's just to keep in mind. And also, I think I mentioned this a bit earlier, but it says according to nutritional and nutrition experts, what percentage of body weight lost in fluids may reduce in mental and physical performance? So, what percentage do you think before? Can anyone remember what I said earlier?
I can remember, but I'm going to
Yeah.
wait. I was going to wait for other people to work.
But it's as low as 2% of your losing water fluids, and then you start having impairment in your mental and your physical capabilities. So it's just to be mindful about drinking water. And we come to the end of this section about the body filled food. So I'm sorry for the people that have come in. So we sort of earlier on talked about the youth, some personal development, the moved into food, and then the last bit is going to be on fitness and active living. But I also want to mention that I've got like some juice tasting samples there. So there's a green juice, a red juice. So feel free at any moment to go. I'm coming back in a second. I just need to locate my son and my daughter. Too quiet. Yeah, so it's a bit too quiet. That's also a bit serious. I'll be back in a second. So help yourself to some of the tasters. I just need to